Hello, welcome to a new linguistics class. This is lesson number 3. And lesson number 3 has to do with language. Since this is linguistics, and linguistics is the systematic scientific study of human languages, we need to define what language is. Now, what do you think it is? Most people say that languages are a language is a communication system, and they are right. It is a communication system, but that is not a linguistic definition. Okay, and we need to go through dictionary definitions then. Okay, what does a dictionary definition say? Well, it says that it's a system of spoken or written symbols, for example, which is true, yes, but it's not a scientific definition. Okay. So what we're looking for in linguistics is to provide a linguistic definition of language. And a linguistic definition is a scientific one. And in order to do that, we need to segment the concept of language into parts. And those parts, those features, are the ones that we're going to explain in detail today. So we're going to look at language features. The very first one is that languages use sound signals. Okay. Notice that when we speak, we produce sound, and but the sounds are not just noise. They mean something. And because they mean something, then the sounds are symbolic. The sound ah is just a sound, it's just noise. But when we assign meaning to it, it becomes a symbol. A symbol is something that represents something. Well, sounds are used symbolically in languages. Okay. If I say ouch, three sounds. Well, two sounds. Ow is a diphthong and ch is a consonant sound. Then I am expressing pain, for example. But I am just representing it. There is nothing implicit. There is nothing uh, that tells me that the sequence ouch implies pain, for example. It is just agreed upon that ouch means pain. If you do not speak English, then probably you will not know that ouch means pain. In Spanish, is I, okay? And I means two things in English. It means this part of the body and also me, myself. Okay, so sound signals. The next one is called duality. Duality, why? Dual means two different things. One is that we have sounds in languages, and the other is that the sounds are meaningful. We have meaning. So, sound and meaning together. That is the feature of languages. Not just sound, not just meaning, sound and meaning together. So, that is duality. That's the second feature of languages. Then we have displacement. What is displacement? Well, notice that we human beings, we have the ability to go through time and space with language. Yes, that's our superpower. So we can displace ourselves. We can move through time with language. We can say, yesterday I went to the blah, 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 or tomorrow I'm going to the blah, blah, blah. So we can go past, present, future. Even hypothetically, we can say if I had that opportunity, I would take it. So, yeah. Um, so we can. move through time. And notice that animals can do the same, but restrictedly or limitedly. Um, Let me see here. Notice what it says here. Human language, we can say once upon a time. We can talk about things that are not happening right now, but animals are restricted and they can react to stimuli uh, in the present, and they can show signs. Notice that most of us have a dog or a cat. I'm petting my dog right now. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, and um, notice that they people in Paraguay say, solamente le hace falta hablar, because they are very smart, right? So they can express themselves in in different ways, and they can show displacement limitedly. They can they can talk about things that are happening at the moment. Yes, they can express that. So both human beings and animals show displacement, but animals have limited displacement. The next feature of languages is cultural transmission. We, human beings, have the need to learn languages. We do not know a language when we are born. It is not innate in us. Notice that when horses are born, after a few hours, they start walking. Who teaches them to walk? Nature. Yes. So they can walk easily. Or birds, after a few hours, they can chirp. So who teaches them that? They just know. Yes. So, but we do not, we are not like that. So, poor Tarzan, Tarzan grew up in the jungle and did not listen to English, and because of that, his English is horrible. What do we learn from that? We learn that um that being exposed to a language is extremely important in order to learn it. What happens in public schools here in Paraguay? Well, many teachers teach English in Spanish, so the kids will never learn English because they are not exposed to it. They do not listen to English. Yeah, so this cultural transmission feature is one characteristic of all languages, all human languages. We have the need to learn it. The next one is called creativity, but creativity does not have to do um, with arts, paintings, etc., but it has to do with productivity. Yes, creativity has to do with the fact that we, human beings, are capable of producing an unlimited, an infinite number of sentences. So we can produce new sentences easily. Even babies or toddlers who are learning to, yes, I am stay here, stay in the call, who are learning um, to speak, they can create new sentences even when they never heard them before. And that is a characteristic of human languages. The next feature of languages is patterning. Okay. Notice that the characteristic of all languages is that we have a limited number of patterns, and in those limited number of patterns, all infinite number of sentences fit. Okay, so for example, we have subject and predicate, like he played, she ate the hamburger, etc., etc. But sometimes we can make changes. For example, inside the room were two detectives instead of two detectives were inside the room. See, we can change the order, etc., etc. But we can do this phenomenon with all languages. Okay, all languages have a set of sentence patterns that direct the way we speak orderly. Otherwise, it will be super messy. Talking about orderly, the next feature of languages is structure dependence. What does it mean? It means grammar. We need grammar. We need certain structure so that we don't just speak like this, which doesn't make any sense. There must be a system, there must be order. So we depend on structure in order to speak and to understand each other so that communication takes place. So structure dependence is mainly grammar. Okay. And finally, we have arbitrariness. Okay. This is kind of an abstract concept, so pay attention, please. Arbitrariness has to do with the fact that the reason why we name things is arbitrary. The reason why we name things, I mean, there is no reason. There is no reason why we name things. Why is an elephant called elephant? Why is the elephant not called house, for example? Okay. So the object house and the name house are not connected. The relationship between the object and the name is arbitrary. There is no connection. Okay, there is no inherently inherent connection. No, not inherent, inherent connection between the sound, the string of sounds, house, and the object that it designates. Okay, the relationship between the sound house and the object house is arbitrary. Arbitrary means that there is no connection at all. Okay, people agreed upon that this string of sounds house in English means a house. Okay, so that is what arbitrary means. So if I say, for example, non-arbitrary, what do you think it means? It means the opposite, that actually there is a connection between the sound and the meaning. Okay, I have two videos explaining what arbitrariness is. The second one is explained by an Indian professor. I am fascinated by his accent. So listen carefully, please. I hope you can hear the sound. I am presentation audio. Yes, I think you can hear it. I hope.
Arbitrary means based on a sporadic choice or a whim compared to a system or a logical reason. In English, we call this a pen, but that name is arbitrary. We might as well just call it a floop or a squoggle. There's no innate penness about this object. It's just what we've arbitrarily decided to call it in English. When I'm at home, my meal times are arbitrary. I don't necessarily eat at any specific time, I just eat when I feel like it. So when Will Hunting says,
All right, yeah, maybe we could just get together and eat a bunch of caramels. What do you mean? When you think about it, it's as arbitrary as drinking coffee.
he means that there's nothing special about drinking coffee that should make it the go-to first date. You might as well just eat a bunch of caramels. It's just as arbitrary.
Fall I'm going to tell you today what is arbitrariness in terms of language. When we say language is arbitrary, this is actually one of the features of language, or properties of language, or characteristics of language. What is arbitrariness? When we say symbols are actually arbitrary in language, in human language there is actually no link between the actual signal and the message. For example, there is no link or logic between the name of an elephant and the real elephant. Or there is no link or logic why we call a person Rihan, Farman, or any other name. So, in this regard, we may say language is actually arbitrary.
Okay. All right. So, hope the explanation is clear. It takes a bit because it's kind of abstract, especially because of the concepts. Arbitrary means no connection and non-arbitrary means connection. It should be the other way around, I think. Yeah, it's like the concepts are crossed, but okay. Many people argue that onomatopoeic sounds are the exception, that with onomatopoeic sounds, there is an actual link between the word and the object that they represent. If I say moo, then you think of a cow. So apparently, there is a connection between the sound and the object it represents. Okay, so listen.
Hi, here's a question I've asked myself for a long time and I've never been able to find the answer. Do people in different countries imitate animals the same way or differently? In Spanish, which is my mother language, if someone asks you how does a cat sound, we would say it sounds meow meow. But if I would ask the same question to a Japanese person, for example, would they also say meow meow or would they say something else? Actually, I started this project like 2 years ago, and since right now I cannot travel, I thought it's time to put it all together. So with no further ado, smash the like button and let's do this. Enjoy! Kukuruku! Kukuruku!
Kokkio.
Sogrugu, kukkariku,
Kokkariku, kokkekokko,
Kokoriku! Kokoriku!
kukariku,
kikriku,
kikiriki.
How how.
Wow. Wow.
Hav, hav, hav!
Bong bong.
Huff, huff.
Roof, 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 roof!
Guff, guff.
woof, dog, wow, 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 wow,
Gab, gab, gab.
Bow bow. They don't sound.
Ruk, ruk, ruk. Ruk, ruk, ruk.
But it is true. We don't have pizza.
Hru, hru.
oink, boo, 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 boo,
꿀꿀. 꿀꿀.
Hru, hru.
Cat. How do you sound? Meow meow.
Meow.
Meow!
Yow.
Meow. Meow, meow.
nya, 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 nya,
חתול עושה מיהו.
Meow, meow, meow.
Meow meow.
Jiv, 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 jiv. Chip, chip, chip. Chip, chip, chip.
Pull, 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 pull!
삐약 삐약.
Pew, 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 pew!
Beep, 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 beep. Jiv, jiv.
pio, 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 pio,
טיף 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 טיף.
Pio pio. But also
Alright, so I know this video is supposed to be about animal sounds, but here's a bonus track. How does this sound in your language?
Tick tick.
Knock knock. Knock knock, yes. International thing.
Tuk tuk.
Tok tok. Yeah, tok tok is the same.
Knock knock. Oh no. Tuk tuk. Tuk tuk tuk.
Tok tok. Tong tong. Tong tong.
Tuk tuk tuk.
There is
Shock, shock, shock.
Well, that was interesting. Let me know in the comments, how do these sounds work in your language? Are they similar? This is Alan's theory. Let's keep it creative. Wait, I want to say two things before we go. Number one, thanks to every one of my friends who was part of this video. You guys are awesome. And number two, if you're interested in learning a new language, click the link down below and you will get 7 days to try out for free the Pimsleur course in the language that you choose. It really works.
Right.
So use it and let me know how it goes. That is all.
There you go. Okay, so many people then think that there is a connection between onomatopoeic sounds and the meaning. But as you have seen, the Koreans say tom tom and for tok tok, and they say nyang nyang instead of wow wow. So I'm not sure if I ask my grandmother, abuela, ¿qué significa nyang nyang? I'm not sure if she's going to relate it to a dog or tom tom. I'm not sure if she's going to think on knocking on a door. Conclusion then, if we listen to more languages, we might get surprised and probably we will not know. That means that, and listen this carefully, even onomatopoeic sounds are arbitrary. Most words are arbitrary. There might be one that is connected, but most words, if not all of the words, are arbitrary, meaning there is no connection between the string of sounds that you produce and the meaning assigned to the sounds. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit now about animal communication systems. Are they the same? I mean, do we communicate the same? Well, animals do communicate among themselves and also to human beings. Okay, and we have the case of Nim Chimpsky. Who was this chimp named after? Yes, you got guessed right. Noam Chomsky. Yes, of course. Okay, I need to move there. Better. Okay. Uh, so listen to how human beings train animals to talk and see how much of our language they actually have.
Nim Chimpsky, a remarkable chimpanzee from the 1970s, was part of a groundbreaking experiment on language acquisition. Trained in American Sign Language, Nim signed the longest recorded sentence: "Give orange me, give eat orange me, eat orange, give me eat orange, give me you." While it may sound jumbled, this sentence reveals his desire for an orange through repetitive signs. However, researchers later concluded that Nim was likely mimicking signs for treats, rather than truly grasping language like humans. This fascinating study raises questions about the nature of communication and the cognitive abilities of our closest relatives.
Ever wondered what wolves are gossiping about under the moonlight? Let's crack the code of their wild conversations. For centuries, humans have been fascinated by the mysterious language of wolves. From howls to growls, these majestic creatures have a whole language of their own. Howls can mean, "Where's the pack?" or "Stay away." Growls, that's wolf speak for "back off" or "I'm the boss here." And those playful yips, just some wolf banter. But that's not all. They also share stories of their wild adventures and bragging about their hunting skills. So next time you hear a wolf, remember, they're not just making noise. They're having a full-on moonlit convo.
Now we have the story of clever Hans. This is fascinating. Listen.
Could a horse really solve math problems? In the early 1900s, Clever Hans, a horse in Germany, captivated audiences by seemingly solving arithmetic equations. His owner, Wilhelm von Osten, claimed Hans could perform basic math by tapping his hoof to indicate the correct answers. Crowds gathered, astonished by the horse's abilities. Psychologist Oskar Funkst investigated and uncovered that Hans wasn't solving problems, but was responding to subtle, unintentional cues from his owner or the audience. This phenomenon, known as the Clever Hans effect, highlighted the importance of understanding subconscious communication, forever changing the field of psychology.
This is fascinating. Imagine that. The owner did not tell the answers to clever Hans, but the animal noticed subtle gestures from the owner, and he knew the exact answer. That is fascinating. It's amazing. This is an example of animal communication with humans. So, wow. Now, listen to Alex the parrot. My microphone is on.
You be good. I love you. See you tomorrow. Incredibly, those were the last words of Alex the Gray Parrot. Alex was hatched in 1969 by animal psychologist Irene Pepperberg, who had conducted 30-year experiments studying him. Alex was so intelligent, he knew how to create sentences using 100 words, could identify colors, and even add. Sadly, at the age of 31, Alex seemed to know his time was up, so he told Irene,
So all these clever Hans, Chimsky, and Alex the Parrot, they are mentioned in your textbook, An Introduction to Language. That's why I wanted you to meet them, and all of them show how amazing they are, how intelligent they are in restrictively, and how they can express themselves, not necessarily through symbolic sounds, but through many different forms. So animals do communicate, not just the way we human beings do. Okay, so human language versus animal communication, definitely it is different. Definitely, human beings have the oral tract that is designed for communication, which animals lack, but still they do have a system, a communication system. Yes, it shows how complex languages are, how our cognitive processes are so many in order to just utter a word. Okay. And but we are restricted in the sense that we need to learn languages. We do not know a language when we are born. We do not come with it because it's an invention in a way. Okay. So do you think we're ready for a linguistic definition of what language is since we know all this now? This is the linguistic definition of language. Language is a pattern system of arbitrary sound symbols characterized by structure dependence, creativity, displacement, duality, and cultural transmission. Do you understand the definition in the first reading? Of course you do, because we covered every single feature independently first. So this is this linguistic definition of language. Bravo! We already have one. Super. Now I'm going to assign homework, okay? And it will be a research homework, okay? So you will be conducting a mini research experiment, okay? I took the task from your textbook, An Introduction to Language. Let me read it for you. It was pointed out in this chapter, this is chapter 1, that a small set of words in languages may be onomatopoeic. That is, their sounds imitate what they refer to. Ding dong, tick tock, bang, zing, swish, and plop are such words in English. What is the task? Construct a list of 5 new onomatopoeic words. By new, it means choose whatever you want. Any language will do. Okay? So, not creating a new one, but collecting words. And then test them on at least 5 friends. By friends, it means people who do not know anything about linguistics. Maybe your family, your brothers, sisters, or someone who is next to you, to see whether they are truly non-arbitrary to sound and meaning. Okay? The task then is to prove if people relate the sound to something or not. If they relate that to something, that it means that the sound is non-arbitrary. Wow, because we know that in linguistics most words are arbitrary. So I want you to make a chart like this with 5 different uh, onomatopoeic sounds like quack, moo, splash, talk, and jarara. That's what why I wrote. And you need to get 5 friends. So I chose Jorge, Rosa, Maria, Ricardo, and Carol. And what should I do? I go to Jorge and I ask, Jorge, what does quack mean? And Jorge starts thinking and he says, duck. Okay, which makes sense. And then I go to Rosa and Rosa, what does quack mean? And she says, duck. And Maria, pilgrim, because for some reason Maria connected the word quack with Quaker. Okay, and then Ricardo says space because quack is more a small atom or something like that. I don't know, but he connected it and he said space. And Carol said that too. Because there is no agreement in the answers, we can conclude that the word quack is arbitrary. That there is no connection between the sound and meaning. That's why people got different answers. But then I go with the word moo and I ask Jorge, what does it mean? And he says cow. And Rosa, cow. Maria, cow. Ricardo, cow. Carol, cow. Conclusion, this word moo apparently is non-arbitrary, meaning there is an apparent connection between the sound moo and the meaning. And you do the same experiment with 3 more words. Finally, you need to write a conclusive paragraph. In that conclusive paragraph, you talk about the experiment. Was it difficult to do? Did people think you were crazy? What? And how you got to that conclusion and how you came up with the words, etc., etc. If the participants were willing to to uh, to do the experiment or not, etc., etc. The idea is for you to have fun, but to prove a point. Yes, we know the theory. We know that all words are arbitrary, but still, based on the limited the data that you will be collecting, you can conclude that some words are non-arbitrary, some words are arbitrary. Okay, have fun with the experiment because you need to have fun when doing this task. Okay. Super. This has been lesson 3, What is Language? The presentation will be available on the platform, and the task must be submitted, uploaded on the platform as well. If you have questions, you need to write me messages on the platform too. See you then. Goodbye, everyone. Enjoy.